Namanda Vatsinamanda 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 Vatsinamanda.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We will begin today's service with meditation followed by Nembutsu. Please join me by placing your palms together in Gassho.
Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namanda Vatsinamanda Vatsinamanda.
Good morning again, everyone. Welcome to our service. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Debbie Nakade, and thank you for joining us for today's Nirvana Day service. We are honored to have Reverend Blaine Higa from the Kona Honganji Buddhist Temple as our guest speaker, and he submitted a video Dharma message to share with us. As you may recall, he was kind enough to be our guest speaker last year as well. Nirvana Day, also known as Parinirvana Day, commemorates the passing of Shakyamuni Buddha, who attained complete nirvana at the age of 80 years old. We will now continue with the chanting of Sojo, which is called Three Respectful Callings. It can be found on the inside cover of the service book. This will be followed by the aspiration of today's service by Reverend Shibata.
지보뇨란 니으돔 조음 The members of the Buddhist Church of Stockton are gathered today to observe the day in which Muni Buddha entered Nirvana. Today, every day, let us remember the wisdom and compassion of the Buddha and the transiency of all life. In doing so, let us put our palms together with deepest gratitude as we call the name of the Buddha and recite the Nembutsu together. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu.
Please rise if it is comfortable for you to do so. For the singing of the Gatha, listen to his voice, verses 1 and 2. The Gatha can be found in the program or in the service book on page 178. This will be followed by the recitation of the three treasures, which is also in the program or on page 2 of the service book.
Three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life, now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teaching of the Blessed One, now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of their doctrine and gain wisdom as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together be units in true accord in your life of harmony in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu.
We will continue with the chanting of Juseke, which is on the back of the program or starting on page 95 in the service book.
小学顔無量語不意大聖主不在小貧具政府上小学合市上仏道幼少長寺法空教未正門政府上小学利欲人少年上映修本業しぐむ浄土一生天にし地に起現代行再度少女三苦名交際集約難会知恵見飯公門閉塞小悪道通達全宗門高僧上像伊予道寺本日月周期天候音普賢一周会放送公正功徳法上大集中説法ししく仏具足習徳本金秩序満徳意三害用両仏無下地つらつみ不詳感覚エリック投資最小損感や大勢の感動国書店人東内妙見ナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブ観日具読よどせいさいどうほんもだ Namanda Vutsinamanda 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 Vutmanda Vutsinamanda Vutsinamanda Vutsinamanda.
We'll now have incense offering by the following representatives. Dharma School student Taiga Matsumoto. Dharma School teacher Mike Shibata. Sangha Club Burns. Young Buddhist Association George Fuji. Young Adult Buddhist Association, Dr. Linda Kawaguchi. Adult Buddhist Association, Dolores Matsumura. Tomono Kai Matoe Takahashi. Stockton Bukyo Taiko, Chris Kubo. Stockton Buddhist Women's Association, Lois Naishi. Cortez Hawakai, Dan Kubo. And the Buddhist Church of Stockton, Candy Hayashi. Thank you, everyone. We will now have a Dharma message by Reverend Shibata.
Okay, good morning, everybody. And for all of you who enjoy football, happy Super Bowl Sunday. I personally don't watch a lot of football, so I probably won't be watching the game, but I hope you have a good time this afternoon. So today we're observing Nirvana Day, and this is a special Buddhist service where we remember the day in which Buddha passed away over 2,500 years ago. And so in Buddhism, we think of this day as a sad day. Instead, we remember this day with gratitude and reflection and learning. So when the Buddha passed away, his students were very sad, and some cried, and some felt confused, and some wondered, what will we do without our teacher? So that feeling might sound familiar. So have you ever felt very sad about saying goodbye to somebody that you cared about? Maybe when a grandparent went home after visiting, a close friend moved away, or even when a pet passed away? So that heavy feeling that we feel in our hearts is something we all experience. So there's a teaching in Buddhism called a sutra. These are the words of the Buddha that were written down that talks about this same feeling. In one particular sutra, the Buddha teaches that when we care deeply about someone, it's natural to feel sadness when we have to part from them. And he didn't say that this feeling was wrong or bad. And he helped people understand sad means that we deeply cared. And caring is part of being human. And the Buddha taught that everyone experiences parting or saying goodbye to people, places, and moments that we really love. So even his own students felt when it was time for him to leave. And knowing this helped them realize that they weren't alone in their feelings. Because sometimes when we have really heavy feelings, it feels like we're all alone in those feelings. But as human beings, we experience a wide variety of different feelings all the time. So before the Buddha passed away, he reminded his students of something very important. He told them even though we will no longer be there in person, or that he would no longer be there in person, his teachings would still be with them. And he encouraged them to keep practicing kindness and patience and understanding and wisdom in their lives. And I wanted to share a story which I know that I've shared before, but it's a beautiful, wonderful story. And it was written by a Dharma school student, a previous Dharma school student who I actually grew up with and who was a little bit younger than me, but some of you might know her, Courtney Yamada. Courtney Yamada, she wrote this beautiful book which I've shared before. And I think it really captures this essence of Nirvana Day and the feeling of Nirvana Day. And so Courtney Yamada, she wrote this story about her own grandma, and it's called Grandma's Bottle of Kisses. And she says to her own children, Madison and Cooper. Let's go, said Mom, time to say goodbye. But I don't want to go home. I want to stay with Grandma, cried Madison. She gave Grandma a big hug and a kiss on the cheek, just as she did every time she had to say goodbye. Grandma, I'm going to miss you. I love you. And poor Madison is really sad. She's crying down here. Grandma held Madison in her arms and gave her a big kiss on her forehead. I'll always miss you when you're not here, she said. Wait a minute. I have an idea. Madison waited anxiously as Grandma went to her room and returned with 2 empty perfume bottles, just like this one. What are those? Asked Madison. These are special kiss bottles, replied Grandma as she unscrewed the top of one of them. Just blow your kisses into this bottle and close it tightly for safekeeping. Whenever I miss you, I'll blow a kiss from the bottle onto my cheek, and you'll always be with me. A big smile spread across Madison's face. Grandma, that's a great idea. I'll fill it with 100 kisses for you. And for those of you who know Courtney, doesn't her daughter look like her too in this photo? Madison went to work and filled lots of kisses. She placed the top onto the bottle and handed it to Grandma. Here you go, 100 kisses just for you. That should be enough until I see you again. I hope I don't run out, laughed Grandma. I filled this other bottle with my kisses for you. Use it when you miss me, and I'll always be with you. Madison grabbed the bottle and spritzed her face with Grandma's kisses as she twirled around and squealed with delight. Better save some of those kisses, said Grandma. Come here and I'll give you a real kiss instead. Madison ran into Grandma's open arms and gave her a big kiss. Thank you, Grandma. I love you, she whispered softly. Let's go home, said Mom with a wink. There's Courtney. Madison gave Grandma one final hug and kiss on the cheek. She skipped out the door with her precious kiss bottle and called out over her shoulder, I'll be back soon to fill your bottle with more kisses. I'll be waiting for you, said Grandma, as she blew one of Madison's kisses onto her cheek and closed the door. The end. And so Courtney gifted me this beautiful book and this spritz bottle too, so you can hear it. So beautiful gift. And I think, again, this story really reminds us of the message of Nirvana Day. And so Nirvana Day in this book helps us to remember these two important lessons. First, everything changes, that nothing can stay the same. And second, love and wisdom, they don't disappear. Even when someone that we love, we have to part with, or when they're no longer physically with us. And Nirvana Day also reminds us that it's okay to feel sad. And Buddhism doesn't tell us to ignore these feelings or rush away from them. Instead, it teaches us to notice our feelings, be gentle with ourselves, and remember that feelings, they come and go, and they're just like clouds that pass in the sky. And so today we not only bow to say goodbye, like they did 2,500 years ago to the Buddha, but we also gather today to say thank you. And we say thank you for the Buddha's teachings, for showing us how to care and to care for one another and love one another, and for reminding us that even when things change, we're never alone. And so again, this beautiful spray bottle, it was Madison's and her grandma's kisses that they shared, the affection. But I think this is also very symbolic of the essence of the Buddha's teachings that still remained with us, even though the physical Buddha isn't here anymore. But for those of you that wear perfume and cologne, there's always an essence that's on us after we spray it, and maybe hours and maybe even into the night, we're still able to smell the essence of the perfume. And I think, again, that's really symbolic of how the Buddha's teachings remain with us as well. So if you'd like to have a spritz, there's nothing in here, it's just air, but you could have a little spritz when you offer incense, just as you remember the love and compassion that we have in our lives every day. Okay, so please join me in Gasho to end my Dharma message. Namu Amida Butsu, Namu Amida Butsu, Namu Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda.
Thank you, Reverend Shibata, for your Dharma message. Please stand, if it is comfortable for you to do so, for the Gatha, morning Gatha, verses 1 and 2, which is in the program or can be found in the service book on page 184. This will be followed by the recitation of our pledge, followed by Nembutsu. Our pledge can be found on the back cover of the service book.
Our pledge. Breaking out of my shell, I will share a warm smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who tirelessly works to liberate all. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu.
Announcements. On February 15th, please join us from the comfort of your home for the BCA's Eitakyo service. No service will be held here at the temple on this day. All are encouraged to join this national event. The office will be closed on Monday, 16th. Temple scholarship applications will be available in March, so if you know a high school grad or a college age or someone attending college, please keep an eye out for their availability. Home and hospital visitation is on Saturday, April the 4th. If you know someone 90 years or older who would appreciate a visit, please notify the office by March the 15th. Reverend Shibata's book club / study class is on February 25th at 6:30 p.m. If you are interested, Reverend Shibata, the book is Buddhism of the Heart by Jeff Wilson, who is a minister with the Jodo Shinshu Buddhist Temples of Canada. No pre-reading is required. Join for a reflective conversation with Sunday and Sangha members. The Stockton chapter of the Japanese American Citizens League Day of Remembrance is on February 28th at 1 p.m. I'm here at the temple. Cans and plastic bottles are now being collected by White Bay. Please leave your recyclables in the white barrels by the mini chapel. The Buddhist Church of Stockton's spring seminar is on Saturday, March 14th from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. The theme is responding to compassion. Kathy has the seminar.
Okay, good morning. Before I talk about the spring seminar, though, I wanted to also add on to the part about knowing any graduates from high school or college. I was just thinking, boy, by the time we get it into the karma, you know, it will be March and scholarships will be available. So I wanted to make sure that if you know someone who is graduating, please go ahead and you can tell me, and even better would be if you would notify the office, call Nicole, and let her know who the graduate is, where they're graduating from, and whether it's high school or college. So please get out and do that. And on to the spring seminar. It will be held here on Saturday, March 14th, and it starts at 9 a.m. and goes until 2:30. And we will provide a continental breakfast and lunch for you. The topic is an informative and interactive discussion of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism's views of inclusivity and how it encourages us to respond to the world with compassion. And that's really important with today's news, and also because we're inviting people of all races and religions to come and join us here at the temple. And we want to make sure everyone feels included and Buddhism work toward that goal. You can go to the website. Registration deadline is by March the 6th. So, and the suggested registration fee is $15 for adults, 10 for students, 24 of age and under. So that's just a suggestion. It would be wonderful if you could donate to the registration. So please, please, please plan on coming to the spring seminar. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. Linda is here for another announcement.
Good morning. Just a reminder, Saturday, March 21st at 5 o'clock will be the Stockton G League basketball game. If everybody, Temple members, their families, their friends are invited, if you could buy your ticket through the QR code that's listed on the flyer in the foyer and in the mini chapel, then a small portion of your ticket price will be donated to the temple. Prices range from $13 to about $35, again, a small portion will be donated to the temple. Currently, the team is number 1 in the Western Conference. We will be going to the second to last regular season game, and that is Women's Empowerment Night. We will try to get a table on the concourse as well to share our temple's information and welcoming to the community. So please definitely join us for that event. But again, you have to buy your tickets through that QR code in order to for the seats, the price to be donated to the temple. Thank you.
Also, on Thursday, February 19th at 1 p.m. is the 73rd Interfaith Tea. It will be hosted here at the temple. I've attended this event in the past, and it's always a lot of fun. We have multiple churches from the community all gathered here for service, and then the tea and the socializing in the gym. So if you can attend, it's a lot of fun. 73rd Interfaith Tea on February the 19th at 1 p.m. that year. And then I think lastly, there is a bazaar meeting. Our kickoff bazaar meeting will be Tuesday, February the 10th at 7 o'clock. So if you're interested in hearing what some of the plans for this year's bazaar, remember we've changed the date. It's September 19th this year. Please join us. Interested in volunteering, we always can use your help. Are there any other announcements? Okay, if not, where's my paper? If not, this will now conclude the first portion of our service. We would like to thank everyone for your attendance today. We will begin the Dharma message by Reverend Blaine Higa following Oshoko by Dharma School students. Thank you. At this time, Dharma School students up to middle school are dismissed to their classes. Please come forward and offer incense if you have not already done so. While we're setting up for Reverend Higa's message, I'd like to read his book to you. Reverend Higa is resident minister of the Kona Honganji Buddhist Temple. Born and raised in Hilo, he is a graduate of Waiakea High School. Reverend Blaine holds a Master of Divinity from the Institute of Buddhist Studies in Berkeley, California, with a focus on Shin Buddhist ministry and chaplaincy. He has been a contributor to Tricycle, Lion's Roar, Buddha Dharma, and Midweek, and is a frequent speaker and seminar leader at Buddhist communities in Hawaii and around the nation. Reverend Blaine received Tokudo ordination and Kyoshi certification from the Jodo Shinshu Honganji-ha in Kyoto, Japan. He is the chair of the Committee on Social Concerns and Ministerial Training Committee for the Honpa Honganji Mission of Hawaii. He previously served as assisting minister of Mo'ili'ili Honganji Buddhist Temple and assistant chaplain of Buddhist Academy. He is a past president of the Mo'ili'ili Honganji Board of Directors and former vice president of the Honpa Honganji Mission of Hawaii. He is also a co-planner for the 2022 Future of America Buddhism Conference. Prior to entering ministry, he had careers in state government and the nonprofit sector for over 17 years. He holds a Master of Public Administration and a Certificate of Urban and Regional Planning from the University of Hawaii at Met University in Salem, Oregon. Committed to civic engagement, Reverend Blaine serves on the boards of the American Civil Liberties Union of Hawaii and Vibrant Hawaii. Also a member of the advisory board of the Interfaith Alliance Hawaii. You can learn more about his work at www.blainehiga.com. I thank you for his message. Thank you.
Good morning and aloha. Thank you, my good friend, Reverend Candace, for inviting me to share with you today. In his last moments, Shakyamuni urged disciples to make teachings your light, rely upon them, do not depend upon any other teaching. We continue to honor these words by reflecting on the infinite light and life of the Buddha and living with deep gratitude for the path of peace and spiritual liberation he shared with all of us. We understand that his death was simply the end of the physical body because the true Buddha is enlightenment itself. He exists forever in the truth and in the practice of the Dharma. The Buddha continues to teach and to live on through the lives of all who follow the path of universal awakening he shared. Each of us can embody the living Dharma that has the power to transform ourselves and the world. Late Buddhist master Thich Nhat Hanh believed one word, one action, or one thought can reduce another person's suffering and bring him joy. One word can give comfort and confidence, destroy doubt, help someone reconcile a conflict, or open to liberation. One action can save a person's life or help him take advantage of a rare opportunity. One thought can do the same because thoughts always lead to words and action. If love is in our heart, every thought, word, and deed can bring about a miracle. This is what the Buddha taught us as he lay dying beneath the twin solitaries, that if we only focus on his physical body, we are not truly seeing him. Only by accepting and practicing his teachings can we truly see him. Living the Dharma is the path to transformation and peace. The ultimate goal of the Buddha's path is to embody the spirit of a bodhisattva, those enlightened beings who give up their own liberation for the good of others. This is the core aspiration for how we should live, not just for ourselves, but for everyone, because true compassion is universal and inclusive. In our Shin Buddhist tradition, we often chant the sutra Sanbutsuge, or hymn in praise of Buddha, because it summarizes the aspiration of Dharmakara Bodhisattva to become Amida Buddha, establish the Pure Land, and work for the enlightenment of all beings, resolving to endure and never falter until the goal of universal liberation is achieved. We are taught to live with a similar aspiration of care and concern for others' welfare as our guiding light. I'm thankful for the countless bodhisattvas. These light inspire a culture of harmony, peace, and justice through their example. They illuminate our world with selfless acts of courage, kindness, and lifting everyone around them when darkness falls and hope fades. I think of the thousands in Minnesota right now, including our Dharma friends of the Twin Cities Buddhist Sangha, who are standing in solidarity with a community besieged and terrorized by its own government. I uplift the memory of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, who were murdered by federal agents for standing up against injustice. We've seen this before. The abuse of power, targeting vulnerable communities, and the dangerous erosion of our democracy. We stand at a crossroads where the Constitution and the rule of law are being dismantled for greed and power. We can let truth, justice, and our core value of the communal good slip away, or we can stand firm and fulfill our duty to protect and defend our democracy in these perilous times. I'm reminded of a passage from The Fellowship of the Ring, written by J.R.R. Tolkien. Frodo Baggins had a conversation in which Frodo laments the terrible struggles happening in Middle-earth. I wish it need not have happened in my time, said Frodo. So do I, said Gandalf, and so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. Today we face a government that lies, seeks to impose its will, and silences dissent through coercion and violence. Do we have the courage to stand against state-sanctioned violence, cruelty, and fear wherever we are? Can we be brave enough to imagine and build the just, humane, and compassionate world that should be? Just as the Buddha taught how one candle can light thousands, may each of us ignite the flame of hope and fearlessness in whatever way we can during this dark time. We know that peace is not just the absence of conflict. True peace is not passive. It is an active and powerful force in our world. How do we care for one another? What actions do we take to make our world better? How do we respond in times of crisis? Do we have the strength and courage to envision and create a better future. Our efforts to live humanely are never wasted. Choosing to nurture love instead of anger is the only way to change ourselves, our nation, and our world. Our country is in crisis as the communal fabric of our society is being intentionally weakened by those in power. The constant attacks on the most vulnerable and the erosion of institutions and laws that protect us diminish and demean who we are as a nation. Real people, families, and communities are suffering because of these unjust policies. The cruelty and malice exhibited are contrary to the values I hold as a disciple of the Buddha. These unfortunate actions do not represent me nor many others in our country who cherish compassion, mercy, equality, and the rule of law as the foundations of our society in a free and democratic nation. We must deeply reflect on our most cherished values and have the courage to live them by during these dark times. Shakyamuni Buddha teaches that true nobility is not determined by one's birth, but by one's actions. In the Sutta Nipata, the Buddha offers the following wisdom. He says, one becomes a thief by action. By action, one becomes a soldier. One becomes a priest by action. By action, one becomes a king. In the Shin Buddhist tradition, our altars embody this of nobility based on one's actions. A pair of hanging ornaments called sumi yuraku flank the image of Amida Buddha in the central altar and are inspired by jewelry worn by nobles in ancient India. These beautiful ornaments symbolize the achievement of nobility through noble deeds. The Buddha understood that we are either ennobled or demeaned by our actions and conduct. We achieve nobility when we pursue what is good and wholesome, promoting the welfare and the well-being of all. Guided by the Buddha's wisdom, how should we see the action of leaders? How should we evaluate our own? In India, during his time, the Buddha rejected the oppressive caste system, arbitrarily assigned class and status based solely on one's birth. This system of control fostered division by artificially defining who is desirable and undesirable, worthy or unworthy. However, believed in the radical equality of all people, regardless the circumstances of their birth. The Buddha teaches that no one is above or below another in this life, that we are all equal. Since inception, Buddhist Sangha has been and continues to be a true refuge for everyone, affirming that each of us deserves dignity, compassion, and respect. We all share a common bond, humanity. It is our duty to protect and care for one another with compassion and love. A story from the Buddha's childhood illustrates this ethic for others. One day, a young Siddhartha was walking in the palace garden when suddenly a swan dropped from the sky and fell to the ground in front of him. As he reached over, he discovered the swan was in great distress because an arrow had pierced one of its wings. Siddhartha quickly picked up the injured swan, pulled out the arrow and the bird inside to tend to its wound. Not long later, Siddhartha's cousin Devadatta came by clutching a bow and arrows, and it was his because he shot it himself. The prince adamantly refused Devadatta's demand. He was moved by great compassion to protect the injured swan. After arguing for a while, they took their to the ministers, asking them to render judgment. Toward Devadatta. However, Siddhartha's father, the king, agreed with him that the bird should be in his care to be nursed back to health. The young prince had stood up to everyone, saving the life of the injured swan. Passionate and courageous actions demonstrated the nobility of his spirit. The moving telling of this story, the late Thich Nhat Hanh recounts the Buddha's reflection and he writes, "In the world, few people look with the eyes of passion, and so we are cruel and merciless toward each other. The weak are always oppressed, strong. I still see that my reading that day was correct. For need to emulate the courage of young Siddhartha by living and standing up for all who suffer. In our sacred scriptures, the Buddha is said to proclaim truth. A lion's roar. The truth of compassion and love through our words and actions. True nobility is not measured by power or dominance, but by the passion and care we show are truly powerful and noble. I'm reminded of the late Hawaii-born astronaut Ellison Onizuka, a Kona native who was the first Buddhist in space, and his challenge to future generations. They are the adventurists, the explorers, the doers of this world. When they see a wrong or problem, they do something about it. When they see a vacant place in our knowledge, they work to fill that void. Rather than leaning back and criticizing how things are, they work to make things the way they should be. They are the aggressive, self-starter, innovative, and the imaginative of this world. When we look at the night sky, we see light in the vast darkness of space. Through our imagination, we draw connections between the stars, constellations that resemble objects, animals, people. Cultures worldwide have named constantly based on what observed. It is said that today there are 88 officially recognized constellations. In the imagination, every achievement, advancement starts a simple idea, often inspired by wonder, curiosity, or a sense of responsibility to solve a problem. It takes imagination to see how deeply connected we truly are. Today, it's become more difficult to recognize how we are all connected. The numerous wars, conflict across the world, and deep political divisions that lead to hatred and violence in our country come from a loss of imagination to see that we are all part of this vast web of life. Whether we travel to Mars or explore our own hearts and minds through spiritual practice should we bravely envision the deep bonds between us responsibly to create a world for future generations. The essence of spiritual awakening lies in recognizing how profoundly connected we truly are. Can we courageously live and be brave enough to see the humanity in all people, regardless of origin, immigration, orientation, economic class, religious belief? Each is in this dark and chaotic time. Let's commit to listening to the Buddha Dharma, not with our ears, but our whole being, and strive to live out these teachings in everything we do for the well-being and happiness of all. Honestly, imagining creating a world that should be. Making the Dharma our light and sharing that light with others is the profound lesson of Nirvana Day. We are far from perfect, but we can build a more perfect union every day. This potential is the promise of America. May we always strive to do better and to be better, just as we aspire to embody the vows of a bodhisattva, cultivating a more harmonious, just, and equitable world for all. Let's continue seeking the good together as we work to bring light and love into our darkened world. Please join me in Gassho as we recite the Nembutsu together with heartfelt gratitude, joy, and mindful awareness of our duty to embody the Buddha's path of liberation and peace for the well-being of all. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu. Thank you again.
So I don't think Sensei's able to join us through our YouTube, but we do want to express our appreciation for his very important message as we reflect upon the turmoil that our communities are experiencing and how that really relates to our Nirvana Day, encouraging us to, as he was saying, embody the Bodhisattva wish to save all beings from their suffering. So thank you, Reverend Blaine Higa from Kona for joining us by video despite his very busy schedule. And of course, thank you everybody for attending today's service. And before you go home, please join us in the mini chapel for refreshments. I think we're having pasta and salad and nice little lunch before you go home to enjoy the game. So thank you, everybody. Please come forward if you haven't already had an opportunity to offer incense. Thanks so much. Namandawats, 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 namandawats. Okay. Okay, be safe and well. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, no one said anything to me, so I didn't know. And you watch me? No, I'm good, I'm good. Your idea sounds wonderful.
Hi, Sam. How are you?
When this month?